We didn't expect this night. After everything that happened earlier that day, I thought maybe things would feel better once we settled in. Maybe once we rested, once the noise stopped, once we had time to breathe, things would make sense again. But that night inside the apartment felt heavier than anything we had experienced before. The silence was different. Back home, silence felt peaceful. Here, it felt empty. Dawit sat against the wall, his eyes fixed on nothing, just thinking. Noah slowly moved closer to him, resting his head against Dawit's arm. "Ababa," Noah whispered. "I don't like it here." Dawit looked down at him, forcing a soft smile. "It will get better, Noah." But even as he said it, he wasn't sure. Selim was sitting on the floor beside Leah, gently rubbing her back. Leah's eyes moved around the room again and again, like she was still trying to understand if this place was real. "Am I?" Leah said quietly. "Why is it so quiet?" Selim paused for a second. "It's just different here," she replied softly, but her voice carried something deeper uncertainty. Across the room, Hannah sat alone, her back against the wall, her phone glowing faintly in her hand. She wasn't scrolling, she wasn't typing, she was just staring at the screen, avoiding everything around her. Dawit noticed. "Hannah," he said gently, "come sit with us." "I'm fine," she replied without looking up. That distance, it was growing. Time passed slowly. The room felt colder as the night went on. The floor was hard, uncomfortable. Every small movement echoed. Then suddenly, a loud thud came from above. Leah jumped immediately and grabbed Selim's arm. "What was that?" Selim held her gently. "It's just the neighbors." But even Selim looked up for a moment. Another sound followed. Footsteps. Voices. Unfamiliar. Heavy. Noah moved closer to Dawit. "I don't like those sounds." Dawit put his arm around him. "It's okay, we're safe." But even he wasn't fully convinced. Hannah finally looked up. "This place feels weird," she said. Dawit exhaled slowly. "It's just new." Hannah shook her head slightly. "No, it doesn't feel right." Silence again. Then she said it. "Why did we come here?" The question hung in the air. Selim looked at Dawit. Dawit looked down. He didn't answer immediately. "We came for a better life," Selim said softly. Hannah looked at her now. "This doesn't look better." That hit harder than anything before. No one responded. The room felt even smaller now. Hannah stood up suddenly. "I'm going to sleep in there," she said, pointing to the other room. "Hannah," Selim started. "I just want to be alone." She walked away. The sound of her footsteps echoed. The first real separation. Leah watched her go. "Is she mad at us?" Selim shook her head gently. "No, she's just trying to understand." But Dawit knew it was more than that. Noah looked up at him again. "Ababa, are we going back home?" That question, Dawit felt it deeply. He hesitated. "No," he said quietly. Noah nodded slowly, but didn't look convinced. Hours passed. Leah eventually fell asleep beside Selim. Noah followed, holding on to Dawit's arm. Selim leaned her head back against the wall, closing her eyes, but she wasn't really sleeping. Dawit stayed awake, listening, thinking, regretting. The sounds from outside continued. Cars passing, distant voices, footsteps above. Nothing felt familiar. Nothing felt safe. Selim opened her eyes and looked at him. "Dawit." He turned slightly. "We will be okay," she said. He nodded. But inside, that same question kept repeating. What if we made a mistake? He looked toward the other room where Hannah had gone. The distance between them felt bigger than the space itself, and that scared him more than anything. Morning light slowly entered through the window. The room looked even more real now, colder, harsher. Noah woke up first. He looked around, confused for a moment. "Ababa, is this our home now?" Dawit forced a smile. "Yes." Noah didn't smile back. Leah sat up quietly, looking toward the other room. "Where is Hannah?" Selim stood slowly. "I'll check." She walked into the room. Hannah was awake, sitting quietly. "Did you sleep?" Selim asked. Hannah shrugged. "Not really." Selim sat beside her. "Today will be better." Hana didn't respond. Back in the main room, Dawit stood up slowly. "Get ready," he said. "You're starting school today." Everything froze. Leah looked nervous. Noah looked confused. Hana walked out of the room slowly. "I'm not going." Dawit looked at her. "You have to. I don't belong there. You haven't even tried." "I already know," she said firmly. That confidence, it worried him. Selim stepped in gently. "Hana, just try one day." Hana looked at both of them, then looked away. The distance grew again. As they stepped outside, the cold air hit them again. This time, it felt even heavier. They walked together, but something was different. They were no longer just adjusting to a new place. They were starting to change. And Dawit could feel it. This was no longer just a difficult beginning. This was the start of something deeper. Something that could either break them or change them forever. If you are kind, please subscribe.